Look out, 'cause here I come, and I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies.
Good morning, and on behalf of all Rotarians, I hope you enjoy the 2018 International Women's Day Breakfast. Rotary has a very proud history of inclusivity and diversity. Each day, in over 200 countries, women are joining with other leaders to share ideas and take action. Today is just one of the many times that we come together to celebrate their achievements, their contribution and their impact.
Well, any of you that have put an event together would know that without a major or presenting sponsor, it is absolutely impossible. So, firstly, before we have a look at what they do, put your hands together for Clark & Co, who are our major sponsors this morning. Thank you very much for your generosity.
Let's start this discussion with a little bit of a look at each of our panellists' workplaces and I suppose a look at something that may or may not have happened in the last 12 months to improve the situation when it comes to gender equity. So Deborah, if I can start with you, if you can give us a picture of the gender balance inside the Ombudsman's office and something that you might have done in the last 12 months.
Well, that's changed quite a bit in the Ombudsman's office in the last few years, I can tell you. I have about 90 staff at present. The gender balance in my office is about 60% female overall. Look, the one thing I think is really important, and I want to emphasise this for both women and men, is flexible working. Most of my senior team are on flexible work arrangements, and whether that's parental leave, working from home, flexible working, whatever, it's really important that both men and women actually have the capability to do that.
So we're about sort of 70-30, and it's increasing. It's probably going to be up about 2% by the end of this year.
My mission was always to try to create an Ellen-type show in our country, and I had a mission that I wanted to be the first brown Ellen of our country. And I started this initiative about 3 years ago, and being a Muslim as well, and at a time where obviously being a Muslim is difficult, I decided that I would create a mission of bridging the gap between human beings by creating happier people.
It's critical to show that people are getting there because of who they are and what their talent is, rather than because there's a target. So very similar to what Andy was discussing before at Telstra, we had a rule for every executive position, a gender-balanced shortlist and a gender-balanced selection panel.
We've now got 66 people in the company, so we're very small. Of that, 53% are female.
So I used to say when I was in government, we've got to look like our community. We don't look anything like our community. How are we going to work well with our community if we're not diverse? And that was gender diversity, but a whole lot of other diversity levers.
I do think in a small business, it's much more a meritocracy, and it has to be, because we're at the wall if we're not getting. We can't afford to have not good people.
There's no doubt that in the last few decades it is a better place than it was. I wouldn't have come back to the Australia I left in the 80s.
I believe that the conversation now needs to move into more community and local initiatives. So women really need to have a voice more at a community level. We need to actually make sure that we have funding in the right areas around issues that really matter.
And I applied for this role as the Ombudsman, and I was really keen on doing it. And really the pay was in the back of my mind. It was sort of incidental. I mean, I knew it was a well-paid position, public sector roles are. But when it came to the crunch, and I'm in a conversation with the recruitment person about what's going to go into the order in council for my appointment, and I said, what is the salary? And I was told what was a really very generous, certainly in UK terms, a public sector sum of money, and which was absolutely fine with me. But I simply asked the question because I knew that it was a well-paid role, and I knew that I was the first woman to do it, and I knew that my predecessor, obviously a man, was very well paid. And I simply asked the question, now I'm assuming that that's what you were paying my predecessor, because you wouldn't want the first female ombudsman to be paid less than a man, would you? And there was a silence. and the consultant said, I'll get back to you on that. And I got a phone call that afternoon, and I was told that the salary had gone up about $40,000.
So today is a fabulous morning, celebrating celebrating the richness of diversity and hearing our topic into action. This is our 7th Women in Rotary International Women's Day Breakfast. And over these last 7 years, we've had a total audience of over 8,000 people and raised over $200,000.
Thank you for being part of International Women's Day, and we hope to see you again same time next year. Have a great day.